All right, here we are then back at Boon and Bust. We've got a bit of a riff session, if you like, between Peter and I. I'm really talking about, the tech terms people get wrong. And I think back to about 18 months ago, sitting on the, I think over the other side here at Heath Studios, Peter, and we said, we're going to avoid gobbledygook
We're
terms.
a bunch of hypocrites, Matt. We're a bunch of hypocrites. We bombarded you with all the jargon in the IT industry, so we're now going to make amends for that.
All right, so let's clean up our act here, Peter, and talk a bit about this term, digital cleanliness. Mm-hmm. What do we mean by that? And I guess at the same time, if digital cleanliness leads back to digital transformation, what do they both mean?
Well, Matt, I've been an analyst for 30 years, and I'm going to tell you, I'm scratching my head. I don't actually quite know what digital clean. I've got an idea, I can guess, and I think when you are an analyst, you sort of fumble your way through trying to interpret it in your own way. But what's your interpretation?
When I think about digital clean, from my point of view, it's about getting your house in order at the end of the day. Because everybody talks about digital transformation as a technology thing.
Yeah.
It's a business transformation. So when we think about transforming digitally, it's about how can technology, your servers, your storage, your PCs, how can they help us do things differently, deliver services to our customers more efficiently, more effectively, and in better shape. So that's the business transformation that comes from digital transformation. However, if we're trying to digitally transform when we've got 100 people using typewriters, now typewriter, I'm only joking.
Go on.
Is when you're not connected to the internet.
Matt's a bit older than me.
You have to type things out manually and it comes out on paper, printed, that kind of thing. But the point here is you can't digitally transform unless you've got the digital basics or technology basics in place.
Yeah.
So giving people the right access to the right tools.
So it's the foundation stones.
It's foundations. It's like everything, Peter. If you don't have the right foundations in place, then ultimately you're not going to fail. Coming back to our data center conversation.
It is. But you see, here's my issue, Matt. The reality of the IT industry, it's evolved. It hasn't been planned, and that means most organizations today have a mismatch of different systems that have been thrown together to solve problems. You're talking about taking a more holistic approach to the transformation of the organization. So rather than solving one problem, it's putting the foundations in place that you can solve many problems.
Indeed, that's right. So if you want to use digital transformation to transform your business, you have to get the digital foundations in place.
Yeah.
Which is not just the technology, it's getting the foundations of understanding and capability and knowledge in place as well. So digital cleanliness includes cleaning up your act in terms of empowering your people to understand how tech can help them.
Well, and this is an interesting point, isn't it, Matt? Because we look at the world today and people are often seen surplus to requirements. Nobody seems to be investing in the development of people. They seem to be an impediment to the progress that organizations are making. So there's a lot of mistrust out there amongst people who feel that they're being railroaded by this transformation and they'll be left behind. What do you see as the skill sets that we need to be inculcating in our people to help them build that digital cleanliness?
Fundamentally, starting again with why. Why do people need to embrace technology? People being employees, consumers, that kind of thing. Why do they need to embrace technology? How's it going to help them move forward as well? And if you think about, online forms and that sort of thing. In the past, it was, fill out a paper form, send it to the bank, wait a week, get it back, ask more information, send it back. That's the old way of doing business. But obviously helping people understand that with digital transformation, with digital cleanliness, they themselves have a better experience in things they're doing.
Yeah, but we talk about it, Matt. I can't go on a public transport without seeing the entire people around me on their mobile phones, checking their social media. It's not that people are averse to technology. It's not as if they're frightened of it. I think all age groups now embrace technology, but it's actually how do we see that they need to change the way they work around that technology? It's on one hand, you're using it in your personal life, but you now need to think about when I'm doing a task.
Yeah, well, that's a whole new another conversation at the end of the day. But that ultimately is how you make sure you're bringing the embracement of these sort of things into the the workplace technology angle so that your employees can actually work the way they live.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing. We expect people to use technology in one way for their personal life, then they come to the office and they've got to use technology another way. So bring it back to that thing, work the way you live with technology.
Well, but I understand that, Matt, but I also wonder how then we need to pivot people to look at their personal technology where it can be applied in the workplace. I mean, I think
they're dying to do that, but employers block them, Peter.
So you're saying they're not investing in workplace technology?
Employers,
yeah,
they're not necessarily in general investing in the workplace technologies their people are comfortable using. You know,
but man, I find myself our organisation working. We got Teams channels, we got WhatsApp channels, we got
but we're the exception to the rule because we're a small organisation. We can also
I question that.
You can also bring whatever device you want to work. Most companies dictate what devices you can bring to work. That's why when you go out into the, out in business situations, an awful lot of people have two phones.
Yeah.
One for work, one for home, right?
Yeah.
Because never the two shall meet.
Well, I thought that was part of the accounting, so you weren't sort of using your phone on the company's expense or vice versa.
I would say it's more a security control situation more broadly.
But then the issue gets back to Matt, it's a security issue. Yeah. Let's look at the security.
But most people, and I know we're going down a rabbit hole around workplace tech here, which is another conversation. But what I would say is that most organizations, you will say to you, you will have a Dell laptop.
Yeah.
You will have a Lenovo laptop.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same where we work.
Yeah.
Apart from us who do whatever the hell we want. Right? Everybody else has specific use cases.
I hope you didn't catch that on the camera.
But then it comes back to, again, is that the right approach? Because that then does, and not necessarily a bad thing, but that creates a 9-to-5 mentality.
Yes.
But then if you look at the people who have use their own tools, their own devices, they don't have a 9-to-5 mentality.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially always on.
Yeah.
Right? So do we stop working at 5 o'clock? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The people who are mandated what they can use and when they can use it, absolutely they do. But I think we've gone
way off the topic of digital cleanliness.
That's right, exactly right.